Good morning, students. In the last class, we discussed the valence bond theory, assumptions, and the formation of hydrogen molecule on the basis of valence bond theory assumptions, and why the helium molecule is not formed. So, the valence bond theory was developed on the basis of knowledge of one of the important concept, that is overlapping criteria. That is our today topic. So that is orbital overlap concept of covalent bond. So generally, for the formation of a covalent bond between the two atoms are approached each other. So when the two atoms are approached each other, what we say that only the valence electrons are involved in the bond formation. So here, according to this concept, whenever a covalent bond is formed between the two atoms, the orbitals are overlap, which are present in the valency shell. That is, when the two atoms are approach each other, partial merging of two bonding orbitals takes place is called as overlapping of orbitals. That means, so the formation of a covalent bond is results by overlapping of atomic orbitals. So whenever this overlapping of orbitals takes place, it results into the pairing of electrons. So because in an orbital, according to the Pauli's exclusive principle, no two electrons have the same spin. That's why both the atoms are approaching each other. Then if both are having the same spin, that will be not valid according to the Pauli's exclusive principle. That's why whenever the two orbitals are overlapping takes place, immediately the pairing of electrons takes place. And here one more important point is, okay, this overlapping everywhere takes place. So whenever the overlapping takes place between the two atoms is different from one molecule to the another molecule. That means in all the cases, the same extent of overlapping does not take place. In some cases, the greater extent of overlapping takes place. In some cases, less extent of overlapping takes place. This greater extent or less extent of overlapping criteria can decide whether a strong bond is formed or weak bond is formed between the two atoms. If the orbitals merged together to a greater extent, that means the overlapping takes place to a greater extent, stronger the bond will be formed. If the orbitals are not overlapped to a greater extent, it is only to some extent, a small extent is there, then the weak bond is formed. That means here the strength of a covalent bond depends upon the extent of overlapping. The greater the overlapping, the stronger the bond is formed between the atoms. That means during the formation of a covalent bond between the two atoms, the orbitals are overlapping takes place. Because of that overlapping, the pairing of electrons takes place, which will be resulted into the formation of a covalent bond between the two atoms. So greater the extent of overlapping, stronger the bond is formed. Lesser the extent of overlapping, so weaker the bond is formed. So that is the orbital overlap concept of covalent bond. For example, let us take hydrogen molecule. The hydrogen molecule is formed by the combination of two hydrogen atoms. So each hydrogen atom one electron, in which orbital? 1s orbital. Okay, here is also 1s1. Whenever these two hydrogen atoms are approached each other, then the s orbitals are merged together. So which will be resulted into the what happened? Pairing of electrons takes place. That will be resulted into the formation of which one? Covalent bond. So here 1s orbital and here 1s orbital. Both are having that 1 electron. So when these two orbitals are approached each other with opposite spin, the overlapping occurs. This overlapping is resulted into the formation of hydrogen molecule. The hydrogen molecule formation takes place. This is overlapping. So under these conditions, this shared pair of electrons takes place between the two atoms that will be resulted into the formation of a bond between the two hydrogen molecules. Simply, the two 1s orbitals with opposite spins are approached each other. As a result, overlapping takes place. So during the overlapping, whatever that share, electron pair is there, that electron pair is shared between the two atoms, that will be resulted into the formation of which one? Hydrogen molecule. That's why we say, according to this orbital overlap concept, the formation of a covalent bond between the two bonded atoms results by pairing of electrons with opposite spin belonging to the valence shell of two atoms. That means whenever the two atoms are approached each other for the formation of a covalent bond, definitely the pairing of electrons takes place. So that will be resulted into the formation of covalent bond between the two atoms. So these two atomic orbitals are overlapping. Because of overlapping, so this merging will be resulted into a bigger electron cloud. In the bigger electron cloud, the two electron pairs are present. These two electron pairs are shared between the atom. So that will be resulted into the formation of which one? Covalent bond. So here whatever the electrons are present, that electrons always must have the opposite spin, because according to Pauli's exclusive principle, no two electrons can have the same set of quantum numbers in a particular orbital. Suppose whenever these two atomic orbitals are overlapping, which will be resulted into a bigger electron cloud, that is also called here simply molecular orbital. In the molecular orbital, if both electrons are having the same spin, that will be resulted into a formation of a bond? No. Definitely, according to Pauli's exclusive principle, the pairing of electron must be takes place. Then only both are having the opposite spin. That will be resulted into the formation of a covalent bond. Here, one thing we need to be remember in this concept: whenever the two atoms are approached each other for the formation of a bond between the two atoms, the atomic orbitals are overlapping, or merging of atomic orbitals takes place. The merging of atomic orbitals are called overlapping of orbitals. Whenever the orbitals are overlapped, immediately, so the pairing of electrons takes place with opposite spin. So that overlapping is sometimes weak, sometimes strong. So wherever the greater extent of overlapping takes place, there is a stronger bond is formed. Wherever the less extent, to some extent only the overlapping takes place, there the weak covalent bond is formed. So that's why, according to this concept, finally we concluded the formation of a covalent bond between the two bonded atoms is always results by pairing of electrons with opposite spin belonging to the valence shell of two bonded atoms which are participated in the bond formation. So overlapping of concepts is always helpful. How the bond is formed between the two atoms. These overlappings are also will be different types are there, and that will be results into the different types of covalent bonds. So that is types of overlapping and nature of covalent bond. So depending upon the types of overlapping, the covalent bond may be divided into two types. One is sigma bond and another one is pi bond. In both the cases, the same type of overlapping does not take place. So the overlapping of orbitals is different from sigma bond to pi bond. That's why we are included both the topics, types of overlapping and types of covalent bonds. The first one is sigma bond. How a sigma bond is formed? Sigma bond is formed by end to end and on overlapping of bonding orbitals along the internuclear axis. So this overlap is also known as head-on overlap or axial overlap. Simply, suppose if the two orbitals are there, if the two orbitals are overlapping like this is a, for example, say internuclear axis. So like this overlapping takes place, that is called head-on overlap or axial overlap. That means along the on axis, if they are overlapping occurs, that will be resulted into the formation of which one? Sigma bond. So the sigma bond is formed by any one of the following combinations of atomic orbitals, because all the time the s orbital may not involved in the bond formation. Sometimes p orbitals are also involved in the bond formation. Here, so the three types of overlappings are there: SS overlapping, SP overlapping, PP overlapping. So you know very well s orbital is spherically symmetrical in any direction, any along the axis. That will be always resulted into the formation of only one bond. That bond is which one? Sigma bond. So let us take that two off-filled s orbitals. This s orbital and s orbitals are overlap. So that will be resulted into the formation of which bond? Sigma bond. And sp overlapping. Sp means one is one off-filled s orbital and off-filled p orbital. So these two are overlapping along this axis. For example, this is the axis is there along this axis. So both are overlapping. That will be resulted into the formation of sigma bond. That is sp overlapping. The sp overlap is always resulted into formation of only sigma bond. The pp overlapping. So the overlapping occurs between the two off-filled orbitals of the bonding atoms. So suppose for example this is an internuclear axis. This is say x, it is also x. So both are along the x direction, they are overlapping. That will be resulted into pp overlapping and formation of sigma bond. Here, so when you are explaining the pp overlapping, we need to be mentioned. So whenever the two p orbitals are overlapping, okay, or undergo axial overlapping or add-on overlapping, that will be resulted into the formation of the sigma bond, because the pp overlapping sometimes may also will be resulted into the formation of the pi bond by sidewise overlap or lateral overlap. That is how we will discuss in the next step. That's why when you are explaining the formation of a sigma bond by overlapping of the two off-filled p orbitals, definitely we need to be mentioned the type of overlapping. So when the two off-filled p orbitals will be undergo axial overlap or add-on overlap, that will be resulted into the formation of the sigma bond. So whenever an s orbital is present in the overlapping, definitely there is no need to be mentioned what type of overlapping. Obviously only one type of bond is formed, that is sigma bond is formed. So the sigma bond is formed by these three types of overlapping: ss overlapping, sp overlapping, pp overlapping. In the ss overlapping, the two off-filled s orbitals are involved in the overlapping, which will be resulted into the formation of sigma bond. sp overlapping, off-filled s orbital of one atom and off-filled p orbital of the another atom are merged together, which will be resulted into the formation of the sigma bond. So whenever the two off-filled p orbitals undergo either add-on overlap or axial overlap, so that will be resulted into the formation of a sigma bond. So by merging of the two off-filled p orbitals. So this is about the sigma bond. Here we learn the two things. One is one type of covalent bond, that is sigma bond. The sigma bond is formed by the overlapping of orbitals. What kind of overlapping of orbitals? That is end-to-end and-on overlapping. That is we simply called as add-on overlapping or axial overlapping. End-to-end and overlapping means suppose this is the one and this is the one. Like this overlapping takes place, that is called end-to-end and-on overlapping. This is also called as axial overlap or add-on overlap. This will be resulted into formation of always which bond? Sigma bond. This is one type of covalent bond and this is one type of overlapping. So let us move toward the another bond, that is pi bond. So the second type of covalent bond, that is pi bond. How this pi bond is formed? This type of covalent bond is formed by sidewise overlap of the off-filled atomic orbitals of bonding atom. The sigma bond is formed by the axial overlap or add-on overlap. The pi bond is formed by which overlap? Sidewise overlap of the off-filled atomic orbitals of bonding atoms. So this overlap is also known as lateral overlap or sidewise overlap. So here, in order to formation of a pi bond, the two conditions has to be satisfied. So whichever the orbitals are involved in the formation of a pi bond, their axes are remain parallel to each other. So that is, what do you mean by that? Their axis remains parallel to each other. For example, in the formation of a pi bond, one is px orbital if you are taken. The another one is also px. If it is one is a py, another one is also py. One is pz, another one is also pz. So like that, that one condition has to be satisfied. And these two, okay, whatever the orbitals are involved in the formation of a pi bond, they are perpendicular to the internuclear axis. Whenever they are perpendicular to the internuclear axis, then only the sidewise overlap is takes place, which will be resulted into the formation of a pi bond. Along the axis, this is the axis, so this will be resulted into the formation of sigma bond. Okay, perpendicular to this one. If the two orbitals are like this, they will be overlap like this one. So this will be resulted into always formation of which bond here? Pi bond. So sidewise overlap is always resulted into formation of the pi bond. So axial overlap is always resulted into the formation of which bond? Sigma bond. In the formation of a pi bond, always whatever the orbitals which are involved in the formation of the pi bond, their axis remains parallel to each other, and both the axes are perpendicular to which one meter? Internuclear axis. Then only it will be resulted into the formation of the pi bond. So now here, whenever the two orbitals, okay, overlap sidewise, that will be resulted into the two electron charged clouds. One is present above the plane and another one is below the plane. So see here in the diagram, this is a one p orbital and this is another p orbital. So for example, this is said to be an internuclear axis. This is an internuclear axis and it is an internuclear axis. So into this one, for example, it is py and it is py. It is an x-axis, then it is an y-axis, it is also y-axis. So both our axes are parallel to each other because here y-axis, here also y-axis. And the another one is both are perpendicular to the internuclear axis are there? Yes, both are perpendicular to the internuclear axis. Both the conditions are satisfied. So these can be undergo the sidewise overlapping. The sidewise overlapping means like this. So this will be resulted into the formation of a pi bond. Whenever the two orbitals are sidewise overlapping takes place, here merging of electron cloud, here also merging of electron cloud. So as a result, the electron cloud is present above the plane and below the plane of this internuclear axis. So that's why the orbitals obtained as a result of the sidewise overlap consist of two saucer type charged clouds. One is above and another one is below the plane of a particular atom. So like that, the electron cloud is present above the plane and below the plane in the formation of a pi bond. So like that, sigma bond and pi bond is formed between the two atoms. This is the one thing you need to be remember. The sigma bond is always formed by the head-on overlapping or axial overlapping, whereas the pi bond is formed by the sidewise overlapping. During the sidewise overlapping, definitely, so both their axes are remain parallel to each other and they are perpendicular to internuclear axis. Then only, so the sidewise overlapping takes place, which will be resulted into the formation of a pi bond. Okay, so now always first the sigma bond is formed, after that the pi bond is formed. So you know where the pi bond is formed first, after that sigma bond. In addition to sigma bond, the pi bond is exist between the two atoms. So among these two, sigma and pi bond, so which is the strongest bond? So that will be depends upon the overlapping, because in both the cases the same type of overlapping does not take place. In the first case axial overlapping, in the second case sidewise overlapping. We know very well according to valence bond theory. So wherever the greater extent of overlapping, that will be resulted into the formation of a strong bond. When we are comparing the axial overlapping or sidewise overlapping, in both the cases, the axial overlapping takes place to a greater extent compared to the sidewise overlapping. Wherever the greater extent of overlapping takes place, that will be resulted into the formation of the strong bond. So in the formation of a sigma bond, the orbitals will be overlapping to a greater extent compared to the formation of a pi bond. That's why the sigma bond is always stronger than the pi bond. So the reason they may ask why sigma bond is stronger than a pi bond, you write simply. During the formation of a sigma bond, the overlapping of orbitals takes place to a larger extent. Whereas while the formation of a pi bond, the overlapping takes place to a smaller extent. According to valence bond theory, wherever the greater extent of overlapping takes place, so that is the strongest bond. That's why sigma bond is stronger than the pi bond. So this is about the strength of the sigma and pi bond. Simply we need to be remember. So there are two types of the covalent bonds, sigma and pi bond. And there are two types of overlapping is there. One is axial or head-on overlapping and another one is sidewise or lateral overlapping. The axial overlapping is always resulted into the formation of sigma bond. Lateral overlapping or sidewise overlapping always resulted into the formation of pi bond. While the formation of a pi bond, so definitely the two off-filled atomic orbitals which are involved in the formation of a pi bond, their axis remains parallel to each other and they are perpendicular to the internuclear axis. So then only that will be resulted into the formation of a pi bond. And whenever an s orbital is involved in the overlapping, definitely in that case only the sigma bond is formed. Whenever the p orbitals are participated in the overlapping, that might be resulted into the sigma bond as well as the pi bond, that is depending upon the type of overlapping. Among the sigma and pi bond, the sigma bond is always stronger than the pi bond because during the formation of a sigma bond, greater extent of overlapping of orbitals takes place as compared to the during the formation of a pi bond. So this is about the types of overlapping and nature of covalent bond. So now we compare the sigma and pi bond. What are the differences between sigma and pi bond? You know very well how the sigma bond is formed. Sigma bond is formed by end-to-end and-on overlapping of bonding orbitals along the internuclear axis. So whereas the pi bond is formed by the sidewise overlap of off-filled atomic orbitals of bonding atom. That means sigma bond is formed by the head-on overlapping. The pi bond is formed by the sidewise overlapping of atomic orbitals. So while the formation of a sigma bond, the orbitals will be overlapped to a greater extent. So whereas in the formation of a pi bond, so the overlapping of orbitals takes place only to a smaller extent. Wherever the greater extent of overlapping takes place, that is a strong bond. That's why sigma bond is a strong bond. Here lesser extent of overlapping takes place, which will be resulted into the formation of weak bond. That's why pi bond is said to be a weak bond. So the molecular orbital is always symmetrical about the internuclear axis. So the molecular orbital is here discontinuous. That means, so whenever the overlapping takes place, so these atomic orbitals are merged together to form a bigger electron cloud. This bigger electron cloud is symmetrical in the formation of a sigma bond. But whereas in the formation of a pi bond, the sidewise overlapping takes place. That's why the electron cloud is present above the plane and below the plane. In the middle it is 0. That's why we said it is said to be discontinuous. And the one more important one is, it is possible to free rotation of atoms around the sigma bond. So whenever the two atoms are involved in the formation of a sigma bond, it is easy to freely rotate it. Whenever you are rotating the atoms, there is no break the bond, because along the internuclear axis, the sigma bond is formed. That's why whenever you are rotating the atom, the bond is not broken. But whereas in the formation of a pi bond, when you are trying to rotate the one atom, so it will be moved like this. Whenever it is moving like this, the sidewise overlapping is breaked. So that is not resulted into a formation of a pi bond. That's why free rotation is possible around the sigma bond. The free rotation of atoms around the pi bond is not possible. If you want to freely rotate around that, okay, the pi bond is broken. And a sigma bond may be present between the atoms either alone or along with pi bond. So whenever a multiple bond is present, definitely in that one is a sigma bond and another one is pi bond. Whenever a single bond is present between the two atoms, it is always only sigma bond. It never becomes which one? Pi bond. So the pi bond is present between the two atoms along with the sigma bond. That means sigma bond may be present between the two atoms either alone or along with pi bonds. But whereas the pi bond is always present along with which one? Sigma bond. And I already said in the types of overlapping, so the s orbital is always participated in the formation of sigma bond. It never involved in the participation of which one between the formation of pi bond. So these are the main differences between the sigma and pi bond. So this is formed by the end-to-end and-on overlapping, that is sidewise overlapping. Greater extent of overlapping takes place, lesser extent of overlapping. It is a strong bond, it is a weak bond. So whatever that molecular orbital is formed, that is symmetrical and it is discontinuous because the electron cloud is present above and below the plane. The free rotation of atom is possible around the sigma bond. Here it is not possible around the pi bond because the pi bond is broken whenever you are trying to rotate the atom. And the sigma bond is always present either alone or sometimes with the pi bond, but the pi bond is always present along with the sigma bond. S orbitals never participated in the formation of pi bond. They are only involved in the formation of sigma bond. So these are the main differences between the sigma bond and pi bond. So far we learn whenever the overlapping of orbitals takes place, so that will be resulted into the formation of the sigma bond and pi bond. Does all the overlapping will be resulted into the formation of a bond? No. So here there are three types of overlappings are there: positive overlap, negative overlap and zero overlap. So this is depending upon the properties of the overlapping of atomic orbitals. So when the zero overlapping takes place, when the positive overlap, when the negative overlap. So all these three types of overlaps does not results into the formation of a bond. Only the positive overlaps are always resulted into the formation of a bond. The negative overlap or zero overlap does not favor the formation of a bond between the two atoms where if the orbitals are overlapped like this. So first move toward the positive overlap and negative overlap. So let us take the two orbitals. So here Z axis taken as an internuclear axis. So the two orbitals are, the two p orbitals are overlapped along the internuclear axis. So both the orbitals are overlapping takes place with the same sign, positive and positive. That will be resulted into the formation of a bond. Suppose if the two orbitals are overlapping with the lobes of opposite sign, so that is called negative overlapping. That is does not resulted into the formation of a bond. So that means whenever the orbitals are overlapped, okay, so the lobe sign is must be same in both the cases. So here in the second case you can see here this is a p orbital and s orbital. S orbital is a spherically symmetrical, always is a positive. If this positive s orbital is overlapped with the lobe of positive sign of p orbital, that will be resulted into the positive overlap and formation of a bond, that is sigma bond. Here the negative sign is there, here positive sign is there. When these two are overlapping, so that does not result into the formation of a bond. That overlap is called negative overlap. So in both the cases the sigma bond is formed, but in both the cases the sigma bond is not formed because overlapping orbitals must have the which one here, the opposite sign. When it comes to here in the third case, so this is an internuclear axis. In the internuclear axis, both the orbitals are perpendicular to each other and both are px and px. So they are remain parallel to each other. When both the orbitals are remain parallel to each other and perpendicular to internuclear axis, that will be resulted into the formation of a pi bond. In the formation of a pi bond also the sidewise overlapping takes place. During the sidewise overlapping, the lobes must be have the same sign. Here positive positive and negative negative. That will be resulted into the formation of a pi bond. Even though the axes are remains parallel to each other and perpendicular to internuclear axis, if the sidewise overlapping takes place between the orbitals with the opposite sign in the lobes, that never results into the formation of a pi bond. So here one more, okay, here also. So this is the Z axis internuclear axis. Py is or both are remains parallel and perpendicular to the internuclear axis. So now here the sidewise overlapping takes place. During the sidewise overlapping, the lobes are having the same sign. That will be always resulted into the formation of a pi bond. And here, so even though they are remain parallel to each other and perpendicular to the internuclear axis, so which are the orbitals are involved in the sidewise overlapping having the opposite sign, that never resulted into the formation of a pi bond. That means whenever that orbitals which are involved in the overlapping having the opposite sign in their lobes, that will be never resulted into a formation of a bond. That overlapping is called negative overlapping. And whenever the orbitals are involved in the formation of a bond, so during the overlapping the orbitals lobes sign is same, that is always resulted into formation of a bond. That overlap is called positive overlap. So in addition to these two, the zero overlap is also there. So here s orbital is not approaching properly towards the p orbital. So here this is called zero overlap. And in this case, okay, so this is an z axis. In the z axis, these px and py both are perpendicular to the internuclear axis, but both are not remain parallel to each other, because in the formation of a pi bond, definitely so they remain parallel to each other as well as they are perpendicular to the internuclear axis. But here both are perpendicular to the internuclear axis, but whichever the orbitals are involved in the sidewise overlapping, so they do not parallel to each other. Once they are not in parallel to each other, that will be never resulted into the formation of any bond. That type of overlap is called as zero overlapping. So this concept is said that, so the overlapping of orbitals is result into the formation of a bond between the atoms when the lobes of the orbitals must have the same sign. That only can be resulted into the formation of a bond between the atoms. If opposite signs are present in the lobes which are involved in the overlapping, that never resulted into a formation of a bond. So that overlap we are called as here negative overlap. So the conclusion is among the three types of overlapping, positive, negative and zero overlapping, only the positive overlapping is resulted into the formation of the bonds between the atoms, whereas negative overlap or zero overlap does not resulted into the formation of a bond between the two atoms. So this is about the overlapping of atomic orbitals and how sigma and pi bond is formed and which bond is stronger than, okay, and which is why the sigma bond is stronger. That is I will explain in this class. So thank you very much.